Okay, I think we're live. It's showing in the corner there. We are live on air. So good morning and good afternoon to everyone. I'd like to thank you for joining us here today. I'd like to welcome you to the session, which is going to focus on university progression from NCC Education qualifications. Firstly, introduction. My name is Rebecca Bewley. I am the Head of Partnerships here at NCC Education. I'd like to also introduce you to my colleague Helen Benney, who is Partnerships and Programme Manager at NCC. We're speaking to you today from our headquarters in Manchester in the UK, and we are also kindly joined today by Professor Abhi, Sunway University's Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Provost, Pip Pisanu, Undergraduate Admissions Manager at the University of Bath, and Adam Percival, Partnership Manager at Montfort University, Leicester. Very excited to have our special guests here today. They will be talking to us all about their institutions and applying to university as an international student. Before we get started on the actual content, I'd just like to do some housekeeping points. So you will notice, I think the microphones are not enabled at the moment, but we would love to hear some questions. So please use the chat function. We will try to make sure there's time for some questions at the end. Obviously, we have got quite a packed agenda, so if there is no time, we are recording the session. We'll make sure that all questions are taken back and we will circulate them after the session if needs be. So what are we going to cover today? In today's session, we're going to look at all about NCC to start with. Hopefully some of you will already be familiar with NCC Education. Helen will then guide you through some ideas for finding the right university for you, looking at course content, employment rates, living costs, etc. She will also introduce you to NCC's What Next University Progression brochure, showing you how to use that to help when looking at your next steps after studying with NCC. And then obviously we will hear from our guest speakers and some tips for applying to university. So we'll start with all about NCC Education. Sorry. Thanks, Helen. So we'll start with some information about who we are and what we do. So NCC was established as a computing initiative by the British government in 1966. If you do some quick maths, you will know that we are turning 60 next year. So big milestone coming up. Today, we have a network of over 240 educational partners across the globe that offer our British standard qualifications through our local study centres. Some of you may be studying at already. And NCC is present in over 60 countries as of this year. We work with schools, colleges, universities to provide learners with a range of study routes which give you the opportunity to obtain a British diploma or a full university degree. We're a global provider of British standard education, and you can study through traditional face-to-face in-classroom study and distance learning as well. Next slide, please. So also, we are very importantly regulated by the Office of Qualifications and Examinations Regulation, or Ofqual, here in the UK. So that ensures our integrity, our quality at all levels, and all the qualifications are listed on the regulated qualifications framework in England. So for students who wish to stay in your home country and complete a full degree, we offer options to study with universities in country to provide what we call top-up degrees to offer a complete degree pathway without coming to the UK to study, which is one flexible option. But as an alternative to this, and what we're going to focus on really today, is all about our progression and articulation routes in the UK and worldwide. So if you wish to start in your home country with an NCC diploma, and then you can look to travel to many countries, maybe in the UK, the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. We have many popular progression routes to other countries who offer English language taught undergraduate programmes. The Level 3 International Foundation Diploma is a qualification which is recognised by over 130 30 universities, branch campuses, business schools and professional bodies for on-campus study in over 20 countries. So it's fully recognised. There's many, many options to choose from. And that's one of the things that Helen will show you within our What Next University Progression brochure as well. And I'll now hand over to Helen to take you through some ideas about choosing the right university for you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, and thank you to everyone for joining us, our special university guests, and also the attendees on the call. I think we're up to 76 attendees right now, so that's a great number, and I'm sure a few more will be joining us. So let's talk now about studying abroad and how you will find the right university for you. So there are so many different factors to take into account when you're thinking about studying abroad. Where on earth do you start when trying to choose the right course and the right university for you? So first off, we'll talk about the course, location, facilities, class sizes, universities ranking, accreditations, accommodation and living costs, employment rates, career service, international student support. So these are all big factors that you may want to consider. So the course, this is obviously one of the most important things, the course itself. So the course content, what will you actually be studying in years 1, 2, 3, or maybe even 4 if it's a 4-year course? Normally degree programs are either 3 or 4 years. Perhaps the course will contain an additional year in industry or an exchange program, which may lengthen it by an extra year. Is it going to be a broad-based degree or is it going to be something more specialist? So there may be adjacent programs that are worth exploring. For example, you may initially think, oh, I'm going to study computer science. But take a look, you may find a computer science course which has the units you're really interested in. It could be that actually it's computing or software engineering or computer information systems that you want to study. Or maybe you want to be more specific and study artificial intelligence or data science. You might want to take an and degree, so it could be computer science and business. It could be business and psychology. You may want to take a with degree, so it could be marketing with communications. There are so many different options out there. And obviously lots and lots of different subject areas. For example, our International Foundation Diplomas has streams in lots of different subjects. Generally speaking, you would progress to a relevant programme. But for certain streams, for example, the business stream, you might want to pursue social sciences instead. The next thing are the university's facilities. So what are the university's library facilities like? Does it have one central library or do they have multiple locations? They may have a main library and they may have smaller study areas. It may be that the university is on one campus. It may be split between multiple campuses. So that's something to investigate. Do they have physical copies of books or do they have an e-library or do they have both? What about study areas, computing suites, labs and other facilities? If you're sporty, then sporting facilities are going to be important for you. The location of the universities. So this comes down to personal preference. Do you want a large city with lots of nightlife, museums? Do you want a smaller town or maybe a campus-based university with good amenities and a close-knit community? Do you want something that's rural where you can enjoy walks in your spare time and lovely scenery? Do you maybe want to be near a support network of family and friends? Or maybe you want the opposite. Maybe you want to be as far away from your family as possible and you want a more independent experience. So that's all down to your personal preference. Another thing is there any transnational education provision in your home country? Meaning, does a university, say, for example, that has its main campus in the UK or Australia or the US? Do they have maybe a smaller branch campus, or do they work with a smaller university in your home country to deliver that British degree, so that you don't necessarily even have to move abroad if you don't want to? Class sizes. So the class size is normally indicated by the size of the university, not always. Obviously, if you've got a very popular course at a big university, you probably are more likely to have larger class sizes. But if you visit the university's website, it may give an indication of, whether it's lectures, seminars, it may give an indication of the class sizes. If that's something that's important to you, then go ahead and send an email to the international admissions team, and they probably will be able to advise or give a general idea on that. Now, some students are very interested in universities' rankings. There are various ranking systems, and if rankings are important to you, then I would advise looking more broadly at all the different rankings. So you have the world rankings, for example, Times Higher Education, you have the QS rankings. In the UK, we have Times Good University Guide, we have Guardian Good University Guide, the Complete University Guide. We also have National Student Survey results. As well as the world rankings, there are specific rankings related to regions. So you might have the QS rankings for Asia, for example, which I believe has just come out. You also have subject-specific rankings. So that's obviously something that you also might want to look into, not just the general world ranking. There are sustainability rankings, for example, those from QS, and also the Times Higher Education Impact Ranking that looks at sustainability. So all of these things you might want to take into account. Beyond rankings, why not also have a look at the accreditations and awards that the university that you are interested in has received? So, for example, a business school, they often have accreditations by various business-related bodies, for example, AACSB, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, Chartered Institute of Marketing. Of course, you'll be looking for one that's relevant to your program. So if you're looking to take accounting and finance, maybe it's not so important to you that the business school is accredited by the Chartered Institute of Marketing, but have a look and see what kind of accreditations the business school has. Also, what kind of awards has the university received? That's sometimes interesting to have a look at. There are different awards, for example, from the QS Stars, Teaching Excellence Framework, maybe even University of the Year. There are so many different awards that are out there, but it's sometimes nice to see that a university has won some sort of award or has some sort of accreditation against its name. A big factor is cost of living. So what accommodation can your university offer to you in your first year in particular? How much does it cost? Maybe there are a range of costs. Are bills included? Will you need to use public transport to get around, or is everything accessible on foot? What is the cost of food and entertainment in the area? How about course books? Do they have a library, a physical library? Are you going to be using an e-library or e-books? Do they have a bookshop on campus or locally? Might you need to purchase your textbooks before you arrive on campus? Certainly something to think about when you're looking at the cost of living, because it can vary quite substantially between different towns and cities. You may be looking to stay with friends or family, and then of course that does mitigate the cost of accommodation. Employment and Careers Service. Does the university publish either general or course-specific statistics on the alumni employment rates? That may be something you wish to look at, depending on the programme of study. Are there maybe some opportunities to volunteer, to gain internships or even paid employment whilst you study? That may be limited by the legalities of living in the country and working as an international student. Does your course have the option for a year in industry or a year abroad, or maybe sometime doing a work placement and sometime studying at a foreign university? And what about the career service available for international students, either during or after you graduate? So most universities do have a specific page for international students and also a specific careers website. So those are certainly worthwhile exploring. And also, is there a physical career centre? Can you get online advice? Do you book an appointment? That might be something, especially if you're maybe going to be coming back home. Is there a way to kind of contact for careers advice remotely that might be important for you? And lastly, international student support. So moving abroad to study is obviously a big step. It's very exciting, and there are so many places where you can use your NCC Education diploma to progress or articulate to study abroad. It's really quite amazing the range of different countries and different universities you can study at. But nonetheless, it's still a massive step. So does the university have international student support? Most of them do. They do have specialist support for international students. They have international societies and clubs that you might want to join. Of course, you'll want to join clubs with the kind of more domestic population, so you can make friends with students who are from those countries, but it's always nice to also connect with international friends as well. And, you know, the universities do facilitate ways for you to meet home students. Now I'm going to move on to speaking in brief about our What Next University Progression brochure. So a lot of you on the call may be familiar with this brochure, which is available on our website on the University Progression page, and it's one that we produce as a PDF twice a year. So our next edition is going to be out, I believe, toward the end of February. But we do have the 2025, 2026 edition 2 currently on our website, which contains most of the progressions. We do have a few new ones. So if you're interested in the most new progression routes we've got, have a look at our press releases. We do produce a press release with the university once they have issued us with a letter of recognition. So the What Next brochure. NCC Education's Level 3 International Foundation Diploma for Higher Education Studies is now recognised by over 100 universities, well over 100 universities, branch campuses, business schools and professional bodies for on-campus university study. The brochure also contains articulation opportunities at other levels. So if you're doing a level 4, a level 5, pre-masters or the level 7, there are routes where you can study on campus and get that credit transfer or articulate, whether that's into year 2, year 3, entering masters or doing an MBA top-up. We have the most routes are for the level 3, and if you look at our brochure you will see a contents page section, which is important to look at because then you will see which are the routes for case by case progression for the level 3, which are the universities that recognise for level 4, level 5, etc. So do take a look at the contents page, that is important. So we have an interesting graphic in the brochure, which is for the IFD recognitions by country. So as you can see, there are so many worldwide progression opportunities. It's unbelievable. I think NCC started off mainly doing offering progression routes to the UK, but now it is truly worldwide, where you can apply for university study. And these universities have issued NCC with a letter of recognition, meaning that they have reviewed our course specification and have said, yes, NCC students are welcome to apply. We're welcome to, we're happy to consider their application just as we would consider applications from other students. So these universities are happy to look at your application. Yes, and applications are considered on a case-by-case basis by the majority of universities. More names to be added to the next edition of What Next? This is one thing that's important to emphasise, is that the What Next brochure is not a limit on where to apply. So although the vast majority of students do progress to institutions that are listed within the brochure, because that's normally where they feel the most comfortable applying, if there's a university that you're quite interested in that is not listed in the brochure, go ahead and apply to them as well. You know, as well as some of the universities that are in the brochure, because we do see year on year that students progress successfully to universities that are not detailed in the brochure. And if the university is not in the brochure, it just means that they haven't yet decided to issue us with a letter of recognition. It doesn't necessarily mean that they won't consider the application. We also have a nice graphic in our brochure, which will be updated in the next edition for where students went. So this is based on self-reported data from our accredited partner centre network. So I know a few of our centres are on the call. Well, we're up to 101 attendees. So if when your students progress to university, I'm going to take the opportunity to ask you to please submit your progression data. We don't always get as much data as we would like, but we do get a nice snapshot of where students progress to. So a huge range of countries, a huge range of universities, some of which are listed in the brochure and some of which are not. Many progression options for students. And we also do a graphic on what students studied, because a lot of people associate NCC Education with computing and business. And yes, probably the majority of our students do take the computing and business streams within the IFD. And of course, our diplomas in various computing and business subject areas. But of course, there are other streams within the IFD programme, engineering, law, finance, health sciences, creative arts, and students progress to a huge range of subject areas. So yes, of course, business, marketing, accounting and finance, computing, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, also many engineering programs, many different social sciences, journalism, media, education, law, design, interior design, architecture, biotechnology, health sciences. Could go on and on with the different type of subjects that students successfully progress to. Now, getting specific on how you use the What Next brochure. So, as I said, it's available on our university progression page on our website. There is a magnifying glass, so where you can search a specific word or do a Control F function. My advice would actually be to read the brochure from start to finish, because as I said, you may have in your head that you want to study, for example, computer science. But then when you look through the brochure, you might think, oh, that's a super computing course. And if you had only searched for computer science, then you wouldn't have spotted that course. So I would advise to read the full brochure. On the different pages, you will see the university name. So here, for example, University of Bath, the country where that university is located. Some universities may have various locations. So if you want to apply maybe to a branch campus that is not in the brochure, then get in touch with them and just check that you can make that application. The website and a contact email address or inquiry form. So if you have, if you need some information and you've visited their website and found the course page and the information isn't there, or you need a bit of clarification, get in touch with the university via the contact email address or inquiry form. NCC Education would not be able to answer those questions for you. It is the international team who have the latest latest information on their programme, so the international teams from that university, and they will be best placed to advise. So yes, we talked about using the Control F function, but really reading from start to finish is best. Each university has a course page where you'll get plenty of information on the units, on the courses. And also we have in our What Next listing, it does give a general guide as to English language requirements. There are a handful of universities, well, a couple of universities that don't actually require IELTS scores, but the majority of universities do need either IELTS or an alternative English language test, which is advised on the university website, so go to them for that information. And some of the universities may have specified minimum guideline grades for case-by-case consideration. So take a look at that. You know, if they have advised that they really want to see a distinction and you're you know, in line to achieve more of a pass grade, of course you can still apply to them if it's a subject area that you're passionate about, but don't put all your eggs in one basket. Have a range of universities where you are more likely to be meeting their guideline admission requirements if they have outlined that. Some universities choose not to outline that information. And are more kind of open to receiving applications generally, whereas a lot of universities do outline a minimum guideline grade that they want to be seeing. Some very quick hints and tips for applying to university. So for the UK, the personal statement has now changed with UCAS applications for 2026. And students will be asked 3 questions rather than submitting a long personal statement. But in other countries, the personal statement or statement of purpose may still be in place. So that's something that you will need to find out from the university. The first thing to say is whatever you put in your answers to the questions or personal statement has to be genuine. So if your course requires an interview, the admissions tutors may ask more. So don't make anything up. It does have to be genuine. So in terms of the UCAS questions, the first question is, why do you want to study this course or subject? So share your motivation and enthusiasm. Importantly, be specific, be personal, and give current examples. You want to stand out with something that's up to date and personal to you, rather than making generalised comments that, you know, any other applicant could be making. Maybe give a link between the course and your future career goals and personal ambitions. And obviously to do that, you do need to study the units that are involved in the course. You wouldn't want to make an application and say that you want to do something specific when that actually is not part of the course. That wouldn't look very good to the admissions manager. Number 2, how have your qualifications and studies helped you prepare for this course or subject? So within your NCC Education diploma, any relevant projects, any research, any coursework that you've done, the NCC Education diplomas are very good in having different assignment types. So you will have gained so many different skills by studying your NCC Education diploma that you certainly can reference and link to the course or subject area. Maybe if at your centre you know you've had any competitions or even outside of your centre, if there are any accolades or any transferable skills that you've learnt, not just the academic ones, you could mention those too. And what else have you done to prepare outside of education, and why are these experiences useful? So any work experience, volunteering, internships, life experience, or transferable skills again. So this is just an idea. NCC Education doesn't offer university admissions counselling. So if you need a bit of help, then go to your centre. He'll be able to advise, look through the university pages. There's plenty of resources out there online. Obviously, look, you know, you can look at the UCAS website. That's an excellent source. Make sure that you are using sources that are reputable. So visit the university website and look up their specific process for applying to university, understand the course content and the courses you're applying for. For most UK universities, you will apply via UCAS, so check your deadlines for applying, check how it works if you're applying to a university in another country. Contact the university admissions teams for more information. The international teams really are very friendly and are waiting to hear from you if you have a question that can't be answered through looking at their website. So without further ado, we're going to introduce our guest speakers. So we have three fantastic guest speakers with us today. The first being Adam Percival from De Montfort University. Then we'll move on to Pip Pisanu from the University of Bath. And lastly, Professor Abhi from Sunway University. Adam, please could I ask you to share your screen with us?
Thanks, Helen. Am I able to carry on navigating on the slides that I can see?
Yes, I have actually got your slides up. So if you want me to keep it on here and you just tell me when to press the next one, that's fine.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Well, thanks very much, Helen. It's very nice to see so many of you on the call today. I'm delighted to be invited to the University Progression webinar. If we could move on to my first slide, please.
There we go. That first slide is up there now, Adam.
Thank you. So I'm from De Montfort University, Leicester. DMU is quite unique among UK universities in that we have a dedicated team to support our progression partnerships and progression students. We're a multicultural university in the city of Leicester, in the heart of the UK. We're really fortunate in Leicester that our campus is a city centre campus. We're a stone's throw away from the city centre. Lots of pedestrianised spaces, lots of green spaces. Our campus is a really interesting mix of the old and the new. Our oldest building is over 1,000 years old, Leicester Castle, which is home to our part of our business school. And our newest building is just 5 years old. So really eclectic mix of buildings on our campus. We also have a campus in London, which opened this October. And we also have campuses in Dubai, Kazakhstan and Cambodia. I wanted to talk a little bit about our international ranking. At DMU, we participate in the International Student Barometer. So this is a dedicated survey solely for international students studying at De Montfort University and other universities around the world which participate in these International Student Barometer. This year, we had just under 1,000 students from DMU participate in the survey. Current students who were asked a series of questions about their experience of studying at DMU, right from their application and arrival, all the way through to their learning experience, accommodation, student support. And DMU was one of 30 universities in the UK to take part in this, and one of over 80 internationally. I'm really delighted to say that we were ranked globally for overall average student satisfaction, overall first globally for our worship facilities, our prayer room that we have on campus, and also leading in the UK for our accommodation, our career support service, and overall student satisfaction. DMU is home to 3 faculties. We have the Faculty of Technology, Arts and Culture, which is home to programs in fashion, architecture, product design, interior design, arts and festivals management, computing, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, media. Our second faculty is the Faculty of Business and Law, home to programs such as business management, accounting and finance, human resource management, marketing, law. And finally, our Faculty of Health and Life Sciences, home to programs such as nursing, psychology, pharmaceutical sciences, nutrition and health and well-being, etc. Next slide, please. I won't go through all of this, but this slide and the next slide hopefully gives a flavour of some of the pathways that we have mapped. We're really proud to have been working with NCC for about 5 years now, and we have a number of pathways mapped in all 3 of our faculties, allowing students to progress from the level 3 IFD at NCC into year 1 of our undergraduate programs, but also we have pathways mapped from the level 4 and level 5 diplomas in business and in computing. So there's a range of opportunities that students can choose to come onto here studying at DMU Leicester. And these pathways apply not just in Leicester, but also for our other campuses as well. So if a student, if you wanted to study in Dubai instead, where that course is being delivered in Dubai, the mapping, the pathways that we have in place under our letter of recognition also apply to programs overseas. I wanted to talk a little bit about our approach to learning. DMU is one of the few universities in the UK which champions a block approach to learning. So instead of studying 4 modules at a time, on a programme at DMU, students study 1 module at a time in a block which lasts for 6 to 7 weeks. They then have a break for a week, and then they start their next module in block 2. We've found that this improves engagement, student outcomes, but also it means that there's better peer-to-peer learning. Students form a closer working relationship with their tutors, and it really allows students to give the time and energy concentrating on 1 module at a time before moving on to the next. We have a global program. This is a sector-leading global mobility program at DMU. We have overseas trips, student exchange, virtual international opportunities as well. Our most common opportunity here, our most popular one, is for students to take part in a short academic-led field trip as part of their course. So we often take our fashion students to Milan, photography students to New York, arts and festivals management students to Amsterdam, to do a trip which is relevant and specific to their programme of choice at DMU. DMU is a mid-range university in terms of our fees. Leicester is a really affordable city to live in as well. We have a range of scholarships on offer that NCC students will be able to benefit from. I've provided some information on our scholarships for our February intake here. We will update these for our October 2026 intake shortly. But whether you're coming in at level 4, level 5, or level 6, we do have scholarships for all of our international students. It's been a pleasure to speak to you today. If you do have any questions, feel free to contact me on the email address on the screen. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Adam. I'm sure our attendees really appreciate finding out more about Montfort University Leicester. The email address is on there. Or if you have any questions you want to ask right now, pop them in the chat. We may or may not get to a Q&A at the end, but we can certainly circulate some answers in the coming week or 2 for everyone. Now, without further ado, Pip, if you'd like to share your screen and tell everyone a little bit more about the University of Bath.
Thank you so much for inviting me to present to your students today. Thank you to all of the people from NCC who are trying to gather information about the University of Bath. I'm hoping that I can share my screen. Oh. Wonderful. I hope that you were all able to see that short video about the amazing city of Bath. Just a brief overview for you. We are subject rankings. We are 25th and 28 of our subject areas are assessed in the top 10. We're first for marketing, second for accounting, finance, business, and excuse me, sports science, biomedical sciences. We're third for architecture, aerospace, engineering, and social policy. 9 courses received satisfaction ratings of 100% in the NSS. So that's your international management and modern languages with the year abroad, management, mathematics and statistics with year-long placement, civil and architectural engineering with a year-long placement, and so on. There's many courses for you to, bear with me 1 second. I seem to have a technical problem with this, so do bear with me 1 moment.
I might be able to move your slides forward from my side, Pip, if you want to. Let me know. Shall I move on to your community slide?
Yes, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
There we go. I think, can you see that, Rebecca, the community slide?
Yes, I can now.
Excellent.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So 38% of our students come from outside of the UK, and they represent 152 nationalities. So a very diverse cohort, and we pride ourselves on being open to as many different international students as we can. We are a campus-based university, so everything is in one place, which is really beneficial to our students. You mentioned at the beginning of your presentation, Helen, that we've got libraries and facilities, etc., on campus. So we have a library that's available to you 24 hours a day, every day of the year, so 365 days. And we have wonderful green space. We have amazing new facilities of studios, laboratories, and new lecture spaces as well. We are developing all the time and building new areas. Our latest new building is the School of Management building, which is very much state of the art. So come and have a look and see if you like the space, and we will definitely find the best place for you to study with the best facilities. So subject areas. When we were created in 1966, the same year as NCC, so happy 60th next year to us too. We started as an engineering and science-based university, and that has developed over time. And we have an amazing school of management, a faculty of engineering and design. We have humanities, and we also have faculty of science. So a very wide range of subject areas are available to you as students. I would also like to confirm with Helen that the best thing to do is to spend time looking on the website and researching the courses that are going to be best for you. There is a lot of detail on the website that shows you modules, career pathways, etc. I think Helen referred to computer science. Yes, computer science we do, but we also do computer systems engineering, which is predominantly more AI focused. So do explore the opportunities available to you, and do email us if you have any specific questions that we can help with. Employability at Bath. Well, the good thing about the courses and the degrees that we provide here at the university is that the vast majority of them provide a placement option. If you can possibly extend your study time and add that year in for practical experience, this always elevates your CV when you are all coming out with degrees, have done really, really well. How can you make your application different? Having a year of experience in the field is going to be absolutely beneficial to you. So please do take your time to consider whether you can take a placement year option or a study abroad option. That practical experience is worth its weight in gold. You will have a dedicated support team through your department, and they will help you find a placement opportunity. We have many contracts with huge providers such as Rolls-Royce and British Airways, and also a lot of kind of Ernst and Young from the business sector. So do have a look at what is available for you. Accommodation. Okay, so we have about 3,500 accommodation bedrooms on campus, and you'll see some pictures coming across your screen right now. We also have 1,751 bedrooms actually located in the city centre. The city centre is only 2 miles down the hill. It is not far away at all. And we have buses and public transport that will bring you to campus, and they run every 5 minutes. There is no problem getting up to campus. And if you feel like it and you're fit and healthy and you enjoy a good walk, there are some hills to climb. But it's always easier to climb back down at the end of the day. Accommodation contracts are mainly 38 weeks. So you will be able to join us well in time for your Freshers Week when you come to start your degree studies. We also have self-catered and eat and drink options available should you want to get that support with your first year being away from home, having someone provide you with good meals or access to amazing food on campus, then please do look at those options available to you. Bear with me 1 second. So studying is your main role at the university. However, It's really important that you have a good balance of activities, be it through sport or be it through arts. It's about your well-being, okay? So please do think about what you like to do outside of study. We were very proud to receive the Sports University of the Year award for 2026. We have amazing facilities at our sports training village, and we have an Olympic-sized pool. We cover virtually every sport available, and we will always look at new activity should your sport not be covered through the training village. We will quite often have world-class athletes training at our facilities. The Rugby World Cup, we quite often have teams training. Pre-Olympic training is also carried out at our university, and we have been lucky enough to have some Olympic sportsmen and swimmers who have done extremely well. So please do look at those facilities to improve your whole well-being whilst you're studying. So not everybody likes sport. There are many other opportunities. We have a building called the Edge, which houses theatres, training rooms, music rooms. We cover music, drama and the arts. We also have within our student union art societies that also are able to use those facilities. We have ongoing arts programme. We have an international film sector as well. And this, you can book your practice rooms, you can sign up to theatre groups. There are productions every year. Again, this is about your well-being. This is to provide what you need to enjoy your time studying at Bath. So Bath is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Some of you may know it, some of you may not, so please do explore it. If any of you have ever watched Bridgerton, a lot of that has been filmed at Bath, different areas of the city. But it is in the southwest, it is not a London university. However, connections to London are incredibly good. And you can get a train to London in about an hour and a half. Bristol is also nearby, with it being only about 12 minutes on the train. And you can also, if you're missing a seaside environment or experience the coastal environment, that is also only an hour and a half away. I am a Bath born and bred person, and I'm extremely proud of our city, and it has a lot to offer. So do come and see us if you can. We are the third safest university in England and Wales. So anybody who has young, their children on the call who are looking to leave home and change countries, etc., at what I would call a young age, please be reassured we have a very safe campus, and the city of Bath is also very, very safe. Let me just move on. We're of time. So you can also contact our ambassadors. If you go onto our website, you will see that there is a chat function where you can actually speak to different students who man the chat function all the time. And also you'll see there's a QR code for the ambassador platform that will hopefully provide you with all the information you need to make Bath your firm choice.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Pip. I
You're
think
welcome.
we're a little bit out of time now, but we're on the final slide anyway. So
Yes.
everyone can see the admissions email address there for Bath. And as Pip advised, do consult the university's website. It has a fantastic website with very detailed course pages. So have a look at all the different study options at Bath and get in touch with the team or some of the students via the QR code on the website if you have any queries. So thank you so much for joining us on the call, Pip.
Thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome. Now, without further ado, we've got Professor Abhi here from Sunway University. Would you be able to share your slides? I think you are on mute, Professor.
Indeed, I am.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'm fully aware that we're running out of time, and I want to be mindful of everyone's schedule. So, do you have the slides? Can you see them?
Yes, we can see them.
Great, thank you. All right, so I'm going to give you a snapshot of what Sunway University is all about, and why we're really excited that we have now articulated with NCC UK. So we will look forward to welcoming individuals who might want to choose a Southeast Asian university to pursue your degree. So where's Sunway? So you probably may not have heard of Sunway City. So Sunway City is located in Kuala Lumpur itself. But the interesting story, and really that shapes the DNA of the university and the education and the whole immersive experience that we try to create for our students, is that Sunway 40 years ago looked like this: a disused tin mine, a product of unsustainable development. But over 40 years, this land was rehabilitated to what is Sunway City today. And it's now home to 250,000 people with about 42 million visitors annually. And Sunway really is driven by the Sunway ecosystem that really allows an immersive industry, community, and academic integration, where Sunway University is a not-for-profit entity that drives the education, and that education works very closely with industry partners. And that's why I'll talk later about how graduate employability is a big factor in terms of our education philosophy. So there are three things that, in terms of hashtags that I want to share with you first. First is Sunway University is the most happening campus. And that's partly because we are a city campus and, we are a 15 minutes campus, which means that anything is reachable through elevated walkways within this campus. And the focus is really about student experience, student outcomes, and student impact. And you will see the spaces that we have really reflects a 24/7 campus that allows for all types of recreational activities, as well as student accommodation that is really award-winning, and it's all within our 15 minutes vicinity. So these are some of the pictures of the housing accommodation with infinity pools and what have you. But we have to remind ourselves, why do we have higher education? And that's because we want to create global citizens with the kind of mindset that perhaps can allow us to be a more sustainable and equitable world. And that is why, besides investing in skills and knowledge, values and mindset is an extremely important part of the Sunway education. And that really is why, we're very proud that our student welfare and development program has been awarded by multiple parties in various different fora. And student leadership, you have multiple different programs, multiple different societies, and a lot of it's really focused on student driving what is relevant to them, guided by the university. We have multiple student societies and clubs, from eating clubs to sports clubs to debate clubs, United Nations modeling clubs, as well as their own domain of expertise clubs. And so we're a very sporty university. We have many national athletes that are a part of the program. And so every day, from cheerleading to futsal, football, cricket, you name it, we have it. We also have great cultural immersion programs, the university's ensemble. We have a new 1,200 performing arts theater that's actually being developed, and in June we'll be opening it. And really the social element, of course, makes it the most happening campus. But we also invest a lot on mental health support. We have in-house therapists, professionals, a lot of services that's available online or physical at the school level, at the institutional level, but also amongst the peers. For international student support, we have a dedicated international office that drives many initiatives that are very international student focused throughout the semesters. And we have 101 nationalities on campus, and we really focus on creating diversity rather than being too dependent on one particular nationality. So that's most happening campus. The second is a class above. And that's because we're really proud. Our not-for-profit mission has allowed us to expand comprehensive academic programs. So we really have almost all programs with the exception of law, which we hope to introduce by the end of next year. So 100 programs, everything from diploma, bachelor degrees, right up to postgraduate. And what's really distinctive is that while all of these programs, you'll be awarded with a Sunway University degree, depending on the programs you choose. For example, 2/3 of our degree programs will allow you to graduate with a Sunway University degree and a Lancaster University degree. Or with an Arizona State University degree, or in areas of culinary, you'll also have a Le Cordon Bleu Testament. But besides that, we are truly a globally networked universities that allows you to spend a year at Sunway or 2 years at Sunway and then decide to articulate to hundreds of mobility pathways across the world. And in terms of rankings, you can easily go online and you'll see that Sunway is one of the fastest, if not the fastest, rising university in the world. And we are the only private university in all of Southeast Asia that is ranked across all the different ranking matrices. But for us, it's not just those rankings. Our focus on sustainability, we are number 81 in the world, but also graduate employability, number 1 in Malaysia, and in terms of student satisfaction, number 1 in Southeast Asia. And this is because our focus on career preparedness and support is from day one. When you come onto our campus, we're full of career fairs, workshops, forums, and every student have 3 coaches, an academic coach, an industry coach, as well as a C-suite executive coach. And we can only do this because of our special Sunway industry-focused ecosystem within our university. But the goal of education is not just about getting a better job. We believe it's about creating a better world. And a lot of the young people today really want to create something more sustainable and equitable. And that is why we call ourselves #Campus with a Conscience. And within our sustained Sunway University sustainability-focused, transformative, accessible, immersive, and network teaching and learning framework, we align all curriculums independent of your programs to the Planetary Health Framework and the UN SDGs. Very evidence-informed, and our campus operations means that there's no single-use plastic and various different really behavioral modifying initiatives. But every student is basically going to enroll in compulsory courses that allows you to develop the agency for future readiness. And this includes entrepreneurship mindset and skills through game design, integrity and sustainable development to develop leadership skills that really needs to be grounded with ethical reflexivity, and a community service project where every student goes to the community to understand what is that greater purpose that they can actually apply their knowledge expertise into the community. And this is why Sunway University defines itself as a mission-driven 5th-generation university, that we ensure that all our students understand the positive change that they can create, learn how to collaborate with the whole gamut of industry, academic, government, society, and the environment, understand the virtual belonging through tech-empowered pro-social AI initiatives, be engaged in lifelong education and learners, and ultimately to create your own entrepreneurship and employability journey. At Sunway University, a picture like this captures what our commitment is. Graduations are a huge celebration. We even do that in our own theme park. And you'll see how many of our students actually graduate, not just with a Sunway University degree, but also with a second degree. What's most exciting is that if you come next year, by January, we have new facilities for the business school and the School of Arts, a new 24/7 library, all within this 15-minute campus. For engineering students, we will have a net zero building by April next year. And so you're really hitting sustainability, not just in terms of learning it, but actually applying it in terms of the operating of your own program and own institution. And across various different programs, you will see continuous updates and new resources and new facilities. And that can only happen because of the industry academic collaborations that we actually have. So if you're interested, please reach out. This is the link that we actually have. Another important part of Sunway University is that we don't have differences in terms of international and local students' fees. Apart from a small amount for your visa applications, the fees for local and international students are the same. For us, we start by really demonstrating that global talent should be, or at least access to global talent should be equitable, and we want to attract the best talent to our university. And this also applies to the scholarships that are available. Thank you very much.
Wow, what another fantastic presentation, and we're so delighted to have our guest speakers on the call from Montfort University, Leicester, University of Bath and Sunway University. A phenomenal number of people attending live, so thank you so much for making the time. And I know that some of our centres actually have 10, 20, 30 students they're projecting this call to. So this is just the tip of the iceberg of the people who have listened to us live. Yeah, so many fantastic options. There is so much you can do with your NCC Education diploma if you want to go and study on campus all around the world. So many different excellent options. So thank you to everyone for joining us today. We will put together an edited version of this webinar in a recording and circulate it to everyone who is registered in the coming weeks. If you have any questions, do drop them in the chat. We're at 10:05 yet now, so I don't think we'll have the opportunity to answer any more now, although I know that Rebecca has been kindly answering them as we go. There's been several questions left in the chat that have been answered. Windle has asked, Professor Abhi, have you got an email address that we can contact you on? There wasn't a specific one in the slides. Have you got one you could mention now?
Yes, I've actually put it on the chat.
Excellent. So that's been left in the chat, and we will circulate that along with the recording. We'll circulate all three email addresses and websites along with the recording. Could you please provide a link for working with NCC as well as access to the webinar? Yes, if you've registered, we will send you the webinar, and we'll also have it on our YouTube channel, so anyone else can get in touch. And we have our customer support email address, so if you're actually joining us as a centre or a potential centre, get in touch, and one of our business development managers will reach out to you if you want to become an accredited partner centre of NCC Education. Yeah, someone's saying there they would like to become an NCC centre. Well, that's fantastic. You've got so many progression opportunities after you complete your NCC Education diploma. So I'll hand back to Rebecca now for our final goodbyes.
Thank you so much. It's really just to echo what you said, Helen. I think we've had a snapshot into 3 excellent institutions, each so unique, which probably, gives us an idea of how many different institutions there are in the world, and having that NCC at Level 3 International Foundation Diploma in particular does really open so many doors. Thank you in particular, Professor Abhi. I think you gave us such a quick snapshot, but touched on so many areas. So I do appreciate that. And I think this has been a fantastic session. I think we look forward to trying to do some more in the future. And as Helen said, we will make sure that all the information is circulated to all attendees. And obviously, it will be on the YouTube channel for anyone who wasn't able to attend live. So huge thank you again to our guest speakers. And to everyone attending today. I hope you all have a great rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.